Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome Computer Show. Because you're doing well, so having a wonderful day on this glorious 25th September 25. It's 8:11 and we have 6 hours, well 7 hours to do to finish The Good Place. Are we nervous? Yes we are. So without further ado, let's start. Let's freaking start. We got 3. There you go. There you go. So, like I was saying, we got Tahani party, which ultimately leads in her leaving the group. However, Michael, by being a douchebag, is able to get her to leave. Well, Liam to not leave for British, because they think that he's working for TMZ.
Simone and I did trying to analyze the data, apply for grants.
So Eleanor is, and this is actually a really good moment because Eleanor is like, you know what? I know that it's complex between us, but I want to continue the study. And he's like, guess what? The first phase is finished. We need more people. We need different people to be established that there's a similarity between all of those people together. So for us, it's kind of over. And you never thought about that. You never thought that the guy who was going to stop the group is shitty. But again, this shows what? This shows that this will end. Now, ultimately speaking, the group ending is kind of super important. Why? Because it gives Michael a chance with Eleanor to explore really. See, Michael will tell Eleanor everything about the afterlife, and this will lead her to try and bring the four together, which is not his, but him, which always should have been Eleanor trying, and not Michael. This is complex.
I would like to acknowledge the wonderful group of people who brought me here. If I hadn't decided to have the spotlight, if I could have the spotlight torch.
So everybody.
I'm actually laughing because this whole study was a hilarious, stupid, pointless joke.
Yeah. So this is not the most super important part. The study is ending. There's hard feeling everywhere. Tahani is leaving. Eleanor thinks it's stupid. Shitty doesn't want to do it anymore, which is kind of bad. However, Simone is the one that took the situation. And said, listen.
Okay, here's my guess. As humans evolved, the first big problem we had to overcome was needless.
She understands how Eleanor is asking. And this is kind of cool because this could possibly be, and if it is, it's brilliant. If it isn't, it's not a bad thing, but if it is, it's brilliant. She talked about the first problem in life, which is me versus us, right? And then us versus me, which is basically some of the moral beginning. For example, right? How do I say this? The me versus us is how do I don't remember that. See, now I'm stressing. No, I'm really stressing.
It's us. Learning to sacrifice a little individual freedom for the benefit of a group. You know, like sharing food and resources so we don't starve or get eaten by tigers, things like that. Okay, we do so far.
Us against them.
The next problem to overcome was us versus them, trying to see other groups.
So then what happened is Eleanor is still at me versus us. So she doesn't feel like she's part of the group. And this is kind of crazy because Michael was saying the same thing. This is the first time that she is... What is that? Possibly some pistachios. So I don't remember. Holy fuck, I don't remember. And Simone is actually feels bad for Eleanor. She understands how she's reacting, which is kind of cool because we want to see that. Eleanor is, again, the one that has the most work to do. And it's kind of crazy because even then, right, Tahani has a reason to leave the group. Eleanor has a reason to leave the group. It doesn't have nothing, which kind of really sucks.
You're a genius. Correct. I know everything.
So then they separate each other, which is kind of important because again.
Okay, I think I figured out a plan from where they stand on.
Because you want them to be together, right? And Michael is like, yo, we have to restart the timeline. I'm gonna go to the judge office. I'm gonna find a timeline. I'm gonna restart from the moment that I saved them, and we'll restart once again. This is like a neighborhood, which is super funny.
Eleanor and Tahani and Jason, and that is it. If we can't get them enough afterlife points to get them into the good place, then there's no point in us even being here. We have to try.
What the hell is that?
There you go. And Janet is the one to kind of stop him. She kind of tells him, listen, there's no hope. So they open this doorway. Eleanor, Tahani, Jason, and Shitty see them. They see that there's a pathway. I just wish I remember more.
What the hell is that?
So Jeremy Beremy Jeremy Bearimy is the word that is when you explain the timeline and how it works. So this is also a really good episode. So they see the door, which leads Michael to explain, like, listen, we're from the good place.
Spraying the entire system of the afterlife, and they saw an interdimensional door open and close, so turns over the way.
But you forget it, right? Crucial piece of information. Right? So this is one crucial piece of information that says,
Yo, buddy, you
And Michael doesn't know what to do. Michael, for the first time, he's stumped, and he's wanting Ned to help him, but there's nothing to do. So basically, chapter 31.
Agent Fuqua and I are paranormal investigators. We're here to detect.
So he's trying to sell it as Men in Black, which is kind of funny.
It would be easy.
I don't remember that.
The most things Google and Jews. Just take the Jews out and they're dead.
You've seen through the door of the afterlife and figured out how it works.
I don't think I would be able to do it, guys. I don't remember this.
Yes, I'll start this evening. You are black.
Donkey Doug.
Well, this sucks.
Right.
Come on. There is
So he tells him everything, right? And he tells Shitty, basically Shitty, his reaction is the worst because he basically tell them, hey, the whole thing. So they know they're gonna end up in the bad place. And she's just like, yo, I wasn't supposed to be there. It's all pointless. Shitty will have like a existential crisis.
the possible that all this happened was that no time passed on Earth. Go back in time to save us. I didn't have to because of Jeremy.
Okay, so Jeremy Bearimy is a timeline where they could go back in time to save them, right? But the way it works is when you spell it, the way it looks is Jeremy Bearimy, which is kind of funny.
Jeremy Barry. I don't know what to
See?
say. That's the easiest way to describe it.
Super funny.
But what was this? The dot.
The dot.
The hell exactly. How do I explain this concisely? This is Tuesday.
They.
And also July.
And sometimes it's never.
That's true. Occasionally, that moment on the bearable timeline is a time moment when nothing
Never occurs.
So, okay.
I don't remember this.
This broke me. But
Well, because it's not really my birthday, I just want to say my birthday.
how did I see you?
It's my birthday.
I don't remember this. I don't remember this at all. I don't remember this at all. Let me think about it. Brain juice. Drop in the controller. So here's what I remember, right? And Nora does the whole trick of if reaching on her birthday, it ends up going to let's put it like that. Yeah. But it ends up how can I explain this? She finds a wallet where she takes the money. And this is the craziest thing because we know that in the first season she said that she found the money and the rule is to keep the money. But then because of the teaching of Shitty, ends up going to a place to return the wallet. Now going to a place to return the wallet, leads her to go to another place because he doesn't live there anymore. So then she brings him stuff. And then the guy right away he's taking his wallet and she's like, "Don't worry, I didn't take your money." He's like, "This is not what I was looking for. I was looking for this picture." And this picture is basically, and this is super cool because Eleanor, she's still in trial. She wants to get out of there, right? And she's on her way to the airport, but then she feels bad about taking the money, and so the guy showed us a picture of his a drawing of her daughter that says, "Look, this is dad," and he says that it's been rough lately, and this drawing has been super meaningful to him. So he said, "Thanks, Eleanor, you're a really good person," and this motivates Eleanor to do a lot of things. So we got Jason, Tahani, and Jason. Now Tahani and Jason decide to go together and to do good action. So Tahani is to give money to an opera, and she doesn't want to have her name on a wing. So she's basically saying like, hey, she's basically saying that, okay, well, I want to donate the money, but I want to do it in a proper way. Why is that important? Why is that the most important action she did in the last 3 seasons? Okay, because her point was, I gave money, I'm a good person, but she always gave money to recognition, and then she doesn't do it. So Shitty meets a guy, and the guy says trying to sell him drugs, but then Shitty's like, what's the point? Everything is so pointless. So what he does is, this is super, super, super fucking cool. So he gets wet and he takes out his shirt. This is when you realize that Shitty is built as fuck. This is insane because there's 3 seasons of him not looking buff at all. When you realize how buff he is Like the body on him, look. This is super nuts. Look at this. Like a freaking bodybuilder. So Janet and Michael decided to do a manifesto, right? Which is everything that they learned. Now this is actually super cool because this manifesto is supposed to be a guideline for the four to follow. However, the guideline is not complete. So where we are is at episode 8, they go back to see the guy. Who is the guy? The guy is from season 1, episode 1, got really high and discovered about 92% of the afterlife. When every single religion discovered about 5%. So the guy's a genius, and he's gonna write the manifesto. Right? So Shitty goes in and he goes to shop, basically spending all his money. So he buys he does everything he can, right? So he buys gummies, chilies, doesn't care anymore. Right? Even go to a class and say, hey, all of this is meaningless. Don't you understand? There's no point of you being here. Life is just a big mess. Tahani and Jason give money away, which is super, super, super cool. Tahani literally wants to give the money to Jason, but Jason isn't deemed trustworthy, so they still have to do. I don't remember this. Yeah, so this is the classroom, and where she's basically saying like.
First off, there's virtue ethics. Aristotle believed that there were certain virtues of mind and character, like courage or generosity, and he tried to develop himself in accordance.
See, as he's explaining, you see the scenes, which is super nice.
Next is consequentialism. Based the judgment about whether something is right or wrong stems from the consequences of that action. How much utility or good.
It's a shame because if I had more time, I would be really able to pay attention. But consequentialism is absolutely phenomenal because you're looking at the snowball effect, right? If I give money to somebody that is in the streets that has a drug problem, they might spend it on drugs. However, if they tell me that they're hungry, I can give them food, right? So I can give them food and I help them. However, there's a problem with consequentialism. If I give the person food, I'm not enabling him to do a free will. I'm basically helping him, but I'm helping him in my fashion. You know what? I'm going to give you a sandwich because you look hungry. Maybe the guy didn't want to eat sandwich, right? Maybe the guy didn't want to eat. You wanted to eat pizza. And you're taking away the free will from him. You're taking the choice. So consequentialism is not going to spend money on drugs. Consequentialism is he didn't get to choose what he wanted, which means that you didn't help him. You babied him. You enabled him to go one more day hungry. The right way to do it would be to give a job to this person. Realize the value of hard work and the money, how important it is, and the fact that he has a job and that job is a good way to live his life. He doesn't have to go back on the street because he has a good life. He has to maintain his good life. So he might fall down, but he will always remember that there's something good at the end of the tunnel of working hard, which is basically consequentialism.
How much pain is that? And finally,
But this is super cool.
I know. And you walk in, all that. And there is no test. And you walk in.
So Shitty goes in, and this is possibly one of the most important thing that he says. There's a student that raises his hand. It's like, yo, we have an exam next week. Can we learn something? And it's like, yes and no. It doesn't matter if you have an exam. You'll get A, you get F, right? Maybe there's no test and you failed it. And it's kind of cool because what is the point of a test in your life? And the point of your test in your life is a diploma. But a diploma, what is useful is a piece of paper, right? You can be a smart person that have a diploma, and you can be a dumb person that has a diploma. So this is really, really good because in this one, and it's kind of crazy because Shitty, being a good person, has the syndrome of I care too much, and now he has the syndrome of I don't care at all. So there's a nice transformation here. So Eleanor is the one that says, "Listen, that's not cool, dude."
Sure, seems weak, but I have a plan. Come with me.
This is so cool.
Of every single thing we've done and learned.
I added all the data we've gathered here on Earth in chart and graph form. And I added a pretty tasty little recipe for cinnamon rolls made like weeks ago.
Maybe someone someday can learn from our mistakes and enact real change in the process of judgment. But for now, Samuel, we are going to enjoy our time on Earth before we retire. So let's get started. I know it's Tuesday, but I'd really like to visit a lens craft.
Ooh, I like the plan.
Do you know what? I made a mistake. The manifesto isn't for the people. It isn't for the people. The manifesto is because Michael thinks that the way of judging people is wrong, and in this one he's hoping that what he learned will will somehow teach somebody else that, yo, there's more to that than just what we taught. Here's a way. Here's what I would like to do. Here's how we can prove that people are better. Here's how we can prove that the system is flawed. And it's kind of cool because there's a final moment of there's really a final moment of let's do something good for what happened. And Eleanor, Shitty goes back to Michael and Janet, which made they want to learn, and we got Tahani and Jason. So the first, and this is super fucking cool, because they learn that there's no afterlife. They learn that they end up in hell. They learn that what they thought was doing that was good. The only one I didn't think that was good, it was the only person that they didn't think that was doing bad was Jason because he's dumb. But everybody else thought they were doing good, except for Eleanor and Jason, actually. Jason knew that she was a shitty person. Eleanor knew that she was a shitty person. And Bethany and... So they're one of the most affected by it. Because like, okay, well, guess what? We're supposed to... However, Eleanor tastes being kind, and because she tastes being kind, she's like, okay, well, I want to be kind, which is great. Now, we have them going to Michael and Janet, and this is cool because there's still hope.
What do you say, bud? You want to join the Soul Squad? Try to save some souls?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm in. But first, I have to go to the bathroom forever. There you are.
I love this. I love this. I love this. In the end, they end up together. And this is kind of cool because it showed that everything was pointless. If Michael told them before, right? If he told them before, you would have avoided half a season, but it would have been the ending. And this is cool because you go in and you do this study for how a near-death experience changed your life, right? And then it's kind of cool because this results in a couple of things, but it mostly results in the group being together. Now, without the study, is the group together? No, because we saw that the group was ending and everybody left. But now they're forming a new group, and that's kind of cool. And what they want to do is they want to save Soul. So this is super nice because their way of saving Soul is, and this is kind of insane. They were trying to be doing better people. Now they're saving Soul. People that we're going to see. The first one, I think, is Donkey Dog.